Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for kindly introducing me, Prabhu. I'm very grateful. Thank you, Raghurandan Prabhu, for kindly inviting me here, arranging a program. And I'm very thankful to each and every one of you who has come here today for our evening program, special Sunday evening program. The topic for today is the importance of understanding Bhagavad Gita. But I'll begin with a short kirtan. I'll perform Mangalacharan, then I'll begin to speak something. topic is a very important topic, and this particular topic is the importance of reading Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is such a literature, and our relationship with Bhagavad Gita, especially those who are born in India, their relationship with Bhagavad Gita is very strange. Because if you ask any person in India, especially somebody who is born in a Hindu family, you ask them, do you know Bhagavad Gita? Most likely, out of protecting their ego, they will not be able to say no. They have to say yes. And many times when you ask them what is Bhagavad Gita, so many people give an answer, कर्म करो और फल की चिंता मत करो. That is Bhagavad Gita. That is the understanding that most people have about Bhagavad Gita. That work is worship. That is what they have reduced it to today. Bhagavad Gita means work is worship, और in Hindi they say कर्म करो फल की चिंता मत करो. इतना Bhagavad Gita. So if this was Bhagavad Gita, then Bhagavad Gita would not need 700 verses. So Arjun would have said to Krishna, I am unhappy, I don't want to fight. And Krishna would have said, कर्म करो फल की चिंता मत करो इति श्रीमद् भगवद गीता. That's it. इतना में हो जाता. But the fact is that the Gita has not one or two verses. The Gita has how many verses? 700 verses. And it's a very important literature for each and every one of us who is going through this human form of life and who wants to make some sense of the human form of life. Because many of us are going through this human life, but it is difficult for us to make sense out of what is happening with us in this particular life. And therefore, the most important thing that is troubling us is the repeated occurrence of unhappiness in life. That is especially what troubles us a lot. And at a certain point of time, a person tries to find solutions to the unhappiness that they are getting. But due to not finding those solutions, a person becomes completely dejected and falls into a situation which is technically known as moha. Moha means a situation where one is not able to understand what one should do and what one should not do. In the Yoga Sutras, there is a very beautiful definition of dukkha given in the commentary of Sri Vyasadeva, and I am speaking that definition of dukkha. Dukkha means unhappiness. So Sri Vyasadeva defines in his commentary to Yoga Sutra, Yena pratihata jantavas tasya pratikaram. So if dukkha is that when anybody comes in contact with it, they try to get rid of it. That is what is dukkha. Short and sweet. This is the definition of dukkha or unhappiness. Whenever you come in contact with it, you want to get rid of it. That is dukkha. And if a living entity has a choice that two dukkhas or two unhappiness, two forms of unhappiness are presented to anybody, and they are given a choice, you have to select any one. So they will select the path which will bring lesser unhappiness. That is what it is. I will give one simple example. Let's say you are given only two choices. First choice is that on a very hot burning road, you walk barefoot. Second choice, you can walk with slippers, but you have to walk 50 kilometers. Barefoot, you have to walk 10 kilometers. And with slippers, you have to walk 50 kilometers. Please tell me, which will have lesser dukkha? With slippers. Because even though the distance is greater, at least you have slippers. So what will you select? Walking 10 kilometers without slippers or 50 kilometers with slippers? 50 kilometers with slippers, isn't it? So that's the tendency of the living entity, that they always select the lesser misery amongst two. And I have said this often, even when people give up on life, and some people want to end their life and commit suicide out of depression. So ending your own life also is a big misery. It's not easy to take your own life. But there are some people who do take that step. And the reason for that is that the pain of staying alive is greater than the pain of dying. And that is the situation when they have no other choice remaining. So they select the lesser pain. And what is that? The pain of dying. Dear devotees, this dukkha is one of the most important factors which changes us, motivates us, drives us in various directions in this life. One of the biggest scholars of Sanskrit grammar, Sri Nagesh Bhatt, he also defines dukkha. He says, dukkham swato dveshyam. Dukkha is that which everybody dislikes automatically. That is what is dukkha. Dukkham swato dveshyam. Automatically you dislike it. That is what is called as dukkha. Very simple and short definition. Nobody likes to have dukkha, but it comes in your life forcibly without you asking for it. This is the condition of dukkha. And why does dukkha come and how can I get rid of it? This is perhaps a question which will haunt all of us for the rest of our lives. How many of us have experience of dukkha? Please raise your hands. Everybody, isn't it? There is nobody who does not have experience of dukkha. And whenever we are faced with suffering or dukkha, it comes in three different ways. I will specify the three different ways. Please repeat after me the three types of dukkha. First is Adhyatmika. What is Adhyatmika? Adhi Atma. It comes from the term Adhi Atma. That which is which comes from your Atma. And Atma means two things, your mind and your body. So your mind and your body, any unhappiness which is caused by your own mind and your own body is called as which dukkha? Adhyatmika dukkha. This is the first category of dukkha. Sometimes it is a very brilliant day outside, but God knows what happens and we are depressed inside. And you might have seen such people who are always under the grips of depression, no matter even if it is a sunny day outside. Dear devotees, these people are experiencing one type of dukkha. What is that dukkha? Adhyatmic dukkha. People who are suffering from bodily problems, headache, shoulder ache, this is also under which dukkha? Adhyatmic. So any dukkha caused by your own mind, your own body is adhyatmic dukkha. This is the first category. Second, please repeat after me. Adhibhautika. Adhibhautika dukkha is the second category. It comes from the term adhibhut. Adhibhut means any misery given by bhut. Bhut does not mean जो हिंदी में भूत होता है वो नहीं. Bhut in Sanskrit means another living entity. Any trouble given to us by somebody else is called as what? Adhibhut. bhautika dukha. So misery is coming from relatives, parents, children, spouse, office colleagues, anybody else, the police wala on the street. Alright, misery coming from any person is known as which dukha, dear devotees? Adi bhautika. And third category, please repeat. Adhidaivika. Adhidaivika dukha. Adhidaivika comes from the term Adhidev. Adhidev. This misery is given by the Devatas. And why do the Devatas give miseries? Devatas give miseries according to the previous karma of an individual. And you can see a person's previous karma by looking at their Jyotish chart of this life. You will see that this particular person is suffering through this particular problem because in the past life they have done something like this. The astrologer will be able to tell you. So some people have come with a very bad planetary combination due to karma of previous life. And some people have come with a very good planetary combination because of karma of previous life. So these miseries which are given by planets, devatas, etc. are called as Adhidaivika. So there are three types of miseries: Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika, Adhidaivika. And whenever we come across any suffering or any dukha, our first tendency is to try and get rid of it. And when we are unable to get rid of it, then we fall in a situation which is called as moha. Moha means a situation where one is not able to understand what to do. Kya karu, kya nahi karu, samajh nahi aa raha. That is called as moha. Dear devotees, the Bhagavad Gita also begins with suffering. Many of us know that Arjun was about to begin fighting the war of Kurukshetra, and suddenly something happened. Suddenly Arjun developed moha. And Arjun said, I don't want to fight these particular relatives of mine. Dear devotees, it is very important to understand this is not the first time Arjun was fighting a war with the Kauravas. Those who have read or seen Mahabharata on television, you will know that Arjun had previously faced the entire Kaurav army at the end of the Agyatwas, at the end of the incognito state. And Arjun single-handedly had defeated the entire Kaurav army at the end of the Agyatwas. This is not the first time Arjun was seeing Bhishma Dev or Dronacharya or Kripacharya or Karna, etc. But this time something very special happened because Arjun wanted to see, in Kurukshetra, Arjun wanted to see who all have come to fight on the opposite side. So he asked Krishna to take him between both the armies, and when Krishna took his chariot between both the armies, Krishna suddenly said to Arjun, Arjun, look. And as soon as Krishna said, Arjun, look, suddenly Krishna induced something in Arjun's heart, that which Arjun had not experienced previously, and that is Arjun developed immense attachment to his relatives and said, I don't want to fight. If these people die, then for what is the purpose of my life? I don't want to fight. It is better that I become a beggar on the street rather than killing my own relatives. Better I should not fight. Arjun said, I will not fight, and Arjun gave up his bow and arrows, but Arjun knew that it is not possible to run away from the battlefield so easily. So Arjun doesn't know what to do and what not to do. At this particular point of time, Arjun surrenders to Krishna and accepts Shri Krishna as his guru. And that is when Shri Krishna starts guiding him, and that is the entirety of the Bhagavad Gita. Now I will try to explain how this is relevant in each and every one of our lives. Please hear carefully, dear devotees. We are going through our lives and we have many dreams about what we want to achieve in our life. Because I was at one point of time, I was of the age of all of you, and at that point of time I also was sitting in one of those lectures like you are sitting today, and I had many dreams about the future, that life is going to treat me very nicely. Isn't it? Good things should happen to me because I have not harmed anybody, so why should anything bad happen to me? Dear devotees, I was ignorant about how the world works. Please tell me, would you like to face the world with knowledge or without knowledge? How would you like to face the world? With knowledge? When we appear for any examination, HSC, SSC, is it better to have knowledge or go without knowledge? Better to have knowledge. In this world, when you are facing the world, it is better to have knowledge of how the world works. And if we don't have that knowledge, then there is a great possibility that we may end up getting cheated in the world and we may end up making incorrect decisions. Therefore, what I am telling you today is how the world works. And please hear very carefully, this is what is mentioned in the Shastra, and all the previous acharyas have verified this knowledge and given to us how the world works. This is exactly how it works, I am telling you. Please hear carefully. In this world, a human being lives with the expectation that they will attain happiness. Every human being today is living with this single expectation. All of you today are living with this single expectation that in future I will attain something. And what do all of us want to attain? Please tell me. Happiness. Sukh hona chahiye. And for sukha, for happiness, all of us are doing so many things in our lives. Some people are studying very hard, because they are told, if you study very hard, tomorrow you will be able to earn nicely and tomorrow you will attain a lot of happiness. Dear devotees, it's very important to understand, you may continue to work hard, you may continue to attain happiness, but today I want to clear one illusion. The illusion is that, which we are having, is that the world has a lot of happiness waiting for us. The sad reality of the world is that everything here is misery and suffering. Now some of you will not believe me, and some of you have a difficult time accepting this thing. If I tell you, Hindi में बोलूं, सब दुख है दुनिया में, everything is misery. How many of you can easily put faith on this fact? And be honest. If you don't put faith, don't raise your hand. Right? दुनिया में सब दुख है. I think there are 2 or 3 people who are believing it. ठीक है? Honestly. Rest feel कि नहीं, थोड़ा तो सुख है. सही बात है ना? सब कुछ दुख तो नहीं हो सकता. थोड़ा तो क्या है? Little bit happiness is there in the world. थोड़ा we need to do a surgical analysis of this. दुनिया में सुख है या दुख है? And I am telling you, dear devotees, one of the foremost authorities on Ashtanga Yoga in India is Maharshi Patanjali. And Maharshi Patanjali gave us the truth 2500 years ago. Today I am speaking something from him because it helps us put our faith in Bhagavad Gita. So I am explaining something. I will speak a sutra from Patanjali Muni. All of you please repeat after me. Parinam, Tap, Samskar, Dukkhaihi, Guna, Vritti, Virodhacha, Dukkhameva, Sarvam, Vivekinah. पतंजलि मुनि से दुखम एव सर्वम विवेकिनः, हिंदी में बोलेंगे तो विवेकी व्यक्ति के लिए दुनिया में सब कुछ क्या है, दुख है. इंग्लिश, फॉर द इंटेलिजेंट पर्सन एवरीथिंग इन द वर्ल्ड इज सफरिंग. अच्छा, पतंजलि मुनि यू मे से बट वी डोंट बिलीव, you need to convince us. So he is Patanjali Muni, he is very scientific in his approach. So he is giving 3 main reasons and you have to put these reasons through the test. Alright? All of you believe in scientific thinking. Okay? So I am going to give you 3 reasons from Patanjali Muni, and Patanjali Muni says one of these 3 reasons will definitely convince you that everything is suffering in this world. Okay? Now let's understand the 3 reasons. Please repeat after me the first reason which we spoke. Parinama. Patanjali Muni says first is Parinam Dukkha. Parinam Dukkha, I am explaining what is Parinam Dukkha. Please hear carefully. Let's say, keep in your mind the biggest happiness that you want to attain. अपने मन में वो रखो. Keep in your mind what is the highest happiness that you want to attain. For some of you, the highest happiness may be a very highly paying job. For some of you, the highest happiness may be that you need to have a life partner who is very cooperative and loving. Maybe whatever highest form of happiness that you want in your life, keep in your mind. Patanjali Muni says there is a good chance that it will end in Parinam Dukkha. What is Parinam Dukkha? Parinam means transformation. What is the meaning of Parinam? Transformation. One example. For example, let's say there is a boy and a girl and both of them are immensely in love with each other and they are very compatible with each other, and then they happen to get married to each other. Please tell me, is this happiness or unhappiness? 2 years later, the girl develops cancer and loses all her hair. कुछ हो गया, something happened. Which dukha? कौन सा दुख आ गया? The first category of dukha. What was the name? Parinam dukha. Right now we spoke. Which dukha? Parinam dukha. Parinam dukha means earlier it started as happiness. Later it transformed into what? Unhappiness. Alright? This is first category of dukha. What is the name of this dukha, dear devotees? Parinam dukha. शुरुआत में in the beginning happiness, later it turns into unhappiness. Some people are not convinced. It may happen with 1 or 2 people. It will not happen with me. समझ में आया? ठीक है? So Patanjali Muni says, don't worry. We don't have only one category of dukkha. How many categories of dukkha we have? 3. And you will fall into one of these 3. Second is Tap Dukkha. What is Tap Dukkha? Patanjali Muni says, he says that sometimes you get the happiness that you want, but while enjoying that happiness, you start feeling suffering inside, and that is called Tap Dukkha. I will give you 2 examples of this. For example, let's say there is a person who goes to a hotel outside. बाहर के होटल में he pays a big amount of money for a buffet. You know unlimited buffet होता है. So he pays let's say 2,000 rupees for a buffet. अब 2,000 rupees for one plate of buffet is not a small amount. Let's say you go outside and you pay 2,000 rupees for a buffet, and when you are eating it, so in your mind there is the thought कि 2,000 रुपया वसूल करना है. And in most of the hotels, they add something to food in order to make you full very quickly. You know what do they add to the food? Baking soda. So they have added baking soda to their food, and after you have eaten a little bit and you are feeling full already, so you are thinking, अरे यार 2000 रुपये वसूल नहीं हुआ. So Patanjali Muni will come and say, अरे मूर्ख, भोगते वक्त तो सुखी रहो, समझना है ना? Be happy at least while you are enjoying. But the nature of the world is such that you are not happy even while enjoying something. Acharyas also give the example of the biggest happiness of this world, which is love between a man and a woman. They say, let's say there is a man and woman who fall in love with each other, they get married, and the first dukkha doesn't come. Which was the first dukkha? We said parinam dukkha. Doesn't happen. The relationship is going good. Still, when both of them are together, there is tapa dukkha. Both of them are worried tomorrow if something happens to him, tomorrow if she leaves me, tomorrow if he leaves me. I hope you are able to understand. No? This is called as which dukkha? Tapa dukkha. Acharyas say there is another form of tapa dukkha. Sometimes a person gets married to the choicest person they want, the most favorite person they want. After some years, they find another person who is much more compatible. है कि नहीं? Huh? Because you've not checked all the people in the world. You got married to one person who, according to you, was very compatible. After a few years, you find somebody else. You see another couple whose relationship is much better than yours. You go, hi, gosh, मेरा भी ऐसा relationship. You know, this is example of second dukkha. Which dukkha is that, dear devotees? Tapa. अच्छा. Now somebody may say, देखो, I will not fall in the parinam dukkha category, and maybe I will get the best happiness, which will also not have the second dukkha. Which dukkha? Tapa dukkha. So Patanjali Muni says, prepare yourself for the third dukkha. Please repeat after me. Samskara. Tisra dukh is samskar dukh. Now what is samskar dukh? I am explaining. Imagine that you get some happiness and that happiness has no suffering involved. ऐसा happiness, एकदम unadulterated happiness you get in this world. How many of you would like to get such an happiness? Please raise your hand. है ना? चलो all over. तो पतंजलि मुनि से चलो given तथास्तु. Let's hope all of you get such happiness. But with every experience of such happiness, there is something happening. What is happening is that within your heart a samskar is developing. That I can have this happiness. I hope you are able to understand. With every experience of that happiness, there is a samskar developing in your heart. ये possible है. This happiness is possible. Patanjali Muni says, in your next life, when you don't get that, then the same samskar which you have earned, samskars of happiness which you have earned in this life, will give you dukkha in the next life when you don't get that thing. This is called as which dukkha, dear devotees? Samskar dukha. अच्छा बोलो, परिणाम दुख, ताप दुख, संस्कार दुख. इन तीनों में से बच के निकल जाओ. कोई है ऐसा? Anybody who can escape these three? Because in samskar dukh, Patanjali Muni said you enjoy the happiness, no problem. But every happiness is developing one samskar within your heart. Isn't it? I am giving you a very simple example of that. Little kids who have a small child who has never tasted a chocolate, never asks for a chocolate like that. First, somebody has to introduce a chocolate, give it for free to the child. And first time the child eats the chocolate, something happens. The child experiences first happiness. And when the child experiences first happiness, something happens in the heart. What is developed in the heart? Samskar. Are, it is possible to have this happiness. And then the child starts asking the parents. What does the child ask the parents? Chocolate. Achha, if the parents don't give, that time the dukkha which takes place is known as which dukkha, dear devotees? Samskar. Isn't it? इसलिए sometimes people say, हिंदी में बोलते हैं प्रेम में पड़ के फिर दुख पाने से अच्छा है कभी प्रेम में नहीं पड़ना. Like that they say. Better to never love than to have loved and lost. That is what they say. Because that samskar dukha is so tremendous. People, you will see all these crazy people in love, they lose their life, they commit suicide and they go crazy and they don't get married throughout their life. होता है ना ऐसा? Because they have developed a positive samskar. No, I must get this happiness. और कल को you don't get that happiness. So your own samskars of happiness cause you dukkha. So three main reasons, dear devotees, for dukkha. Please repeat. Parinama, tapa, samskara. So these are the three. Patanjali Muni, very scientific. Dear devotees, please tell me, today if you are enjoying some happiness, are you enjoying happiness or are you sowing the seeds of your future dukkha? Bolo.
Sowing the seeds of future.
Okay. Very important. And it's not only in these love affairs that I discuss. Let's say career. Let's say somebody gets an opportunity to go to the United States and earn in dollars. Isn't it? They go and earn in dollars. And tomorrow there is a recession and they have to come back to India. For 5 years he earned in dollars. And then he comes back to India and he has to earn again in rupees. Bolo, will he have sukha or dukha?
Dukkha.
Because in his heart there is a samskar. I deserve to earn in which currency?
Dollars.
Whereas a person who has never been to the United States, who is earning in rupees, will that person have this dukkha? No. Samskar hi nahi hai. There is no samskar. Why will they have that? So, there is a very important statement in the Gita which Bhagavan told Arjuna. Ye hi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate. You think that it is a source of happiness, but from that very source of happiness, misery comes about. What you were thinking as a source of happiness, that very source of happiness results in dukkha. And how many types of dukkha I told you? 3. First categorization was adhyatmic, adhibhautik, adhidaikik. Patanjali Muni's categorization is what? Parinam, tap, samskar. You take any categorization. Dukh to dukh hai. Isn't it? Nobody wants it. Now that we understand, Patanjali Muni said, Dukkham eva sarvam vivekinaha. For the intelligent person, everything in the world is suffering. Everything in the world is suffering. And you can see this suffering in the richest of people in the world, and you can see this suffering in the poorest of people within this world. Dukh hai, it is suffering. Parinam dukh, tap dukh, samskar dukh. A student who is working very hard in India, studying very hard in India. Why? So that tomorrow they can get a good job and they can earn in dollars. And then there is a child in the United States who is born to very rich parents and not studying at all. He already has a business set up for him. Bolo, justice or injustice? What is it? Injustice, yeah? It is injustice because I am spending my time today studying so hard. I am born in a third world country, third world country which does not have any facilities, any good facilities for financial progress. In order to earn money in India, you have to work from 9 o'clock to maybe 6 o'clock in the evening. And then at the end of the month, they throw some money towards you, you become happy with that and live your life. And on the other hand, there is a boy born in the United States who is having everything served to him on a very golden plate. He just has to take part in the business of his father, and millions of dollars are already ready for him. Millions of dollars in savings, and he can survive simply by the interest earned on that money which he has gotten from inheritance. Justice or injustice?
Injustice.
But there is no injustice in this world. It is the Bhagavad Gita which teaches us how the world works. It is this Bhagavad Gita which teaches us. You will spend your entire life working hard, but you will get what is in your prarabdha. And prarabdha is such a big factor which is taught in the Bhagavad Gita. It makes people, it can make atheists into theists. Prarabdha. Prarabdha is the karma you are supposed to enjoy or suffer in this life. That is prarabdha. There are multi-millionaires in the United States. Multi-millionaires. They devotees, do you think, what are they enjoying? Sukha or dukkha? What are they experiencing? Please tell me.
Dukkha.
Now you heard Patanjali Muni, isn't it? What do you think they are having? Sukha or dukkha? बोलो जोर से.
Dukkha.
बोलने में भी नहीं, $1 से सुख तो होना चाहिए ना. But when you have $1 million with you, each and every one who approaches you does not want to talk to you. They don't want to have a relationship with you. They approach you because they want a relationship with your money. And so many multimillionaires in the United States have wives who leave them just for the sake of getting money. They can't get the most important relationship in their life, which is a relationship of love with a spouse. That is what they cannot get so easily. Something which is very easy even for a beggar on the street in India, bolo, isn't it? A multi-millionaire in the United States may not have the happiness of a relationship with a spouse, which a simple beggar on the street in India can have. Bolo. So I think you might have seen many beggars on the street. They are living with their spouse and there is no question of separation. And the spouse, the lady cooks for him. And a multi-millionaire in the United States may have a wife who doesn't even care about the well-being of that person. Well, how many of you would like to be in such a position? Multi-millionaire you are, but you don't have anybody who cares for you. So the Bhagavad Gita teaches something very important. Actually, all of it is dukkha. I hope you are able to understand. This is the most important siddhanta to learn from the Bhagavad Gita. What you are currently seeing as sukha, from the womb of that sukha, something will take birth. What will take birth? Dukkha. And once a person realizes this fact, then when they are moving in the world, they have wisdom. I know I should not fall a victim to this so-called sukha. So then they enjoy sukha, but without becoming attached to it. I hope you are able to understand. They enjoy sukha, but without being attached to it. I'll give you a very simple example. When you give a toy to a small child enjoys the toy. You give the same toy to an elderly person. The elderly person may also play with the toy, but there's a big difference between a small child playing with a toy and an elderly person playing with the toy. What is the difference, dear devotees? The small child is deeply attached to the toy and has feelings of sukha attached to the toy. And if the toy breaks, what will the child experience? Dukkha. And the elderly person also is amused by the toy, but the elderly person does not have attachment towards the toy. And let's say the toy breaks. Will the elderly person experience dukkha? No. This is what the Bhagavad Gita is supposed to teach us mainly. To become a yogi, become a sadhaka, understand the world so that you can get out of this entire cycle of misery. And if you are intelligent, you will do it in this very life. And then there are people who are not so intelligent, who are thinking, "Arey nahi, world is still a place of happiness." So I am telling you one thing, time is a very good teacher. ये मैं बोल देता हूँ today, ठीक है? Time is a very good teacher. Look at the faces of people who are 50-year-old. कभी देखो, कभी when you travel in local trains ना, many of you might have seen, look at the faces of people who are 50-year-old. Do these faces look full of enthusiasm and excitement, or do these faces look full of depression and disappointment? बोलो, what do these faces look full of?
Depression and disappointment.
क्यों? एक तो होगा ना जिसने, there should be at least one of them who must have enjoyed nicely, but नहीं, everybody you see चेहरे पर 12 बजे हुए हैं. And you see the faces of young children when they are going to school. You see the excitement on their faces. There is one difference between a child and a person who is 50-year-old. A person who is 50-year-old has been taught by time. And I said time is a very good teacher. It will teach us. As today, if we are having those expectations, those sparkling eyes that I will attain happiness, tomorrow time is going to teach us that it is not happiness. What we saw as happiness was actually not happiness. But our mind is such an entity, बोलने पे भी नहीं मानेगा, नहीं. I can't quickly accept this fact because first time many of us may be hearing for the first time. इसलिए mind will not easily agree. नहीं, नहीं, it cannot be. There must be some happiness in this world. There must be something. And when the mind doesn't agree, what the mind doesn't agree for, time will help it agree. Again, isn't it? Intelligence is to see the suffering of others and learn from them. That is intelligence. Intelligence is not to experience suffering oneself. Intelligence is to see the suffering of others and then learn. That is an intelligent person. And so the Bhagavad Gita begins with suffering. And so Arjun is also put into suffering. And Bhagavan makes him come out of that suffering by first and foremost teaching him how to live in the world in a non-detached manner. Non-attached manner. How to live in the world in a detached manner. Because once you are detached from the world, then no matter what happens around you, you are able to take it very easily. And if you are not detached from the world, then parinam, tap, and third is samskara, dukkha. They are waiting to teach you a lesson again and again. They are waiting to teach a lesson. And you will see it in your very own life. So, the Bhagavad Gita is meant for this purpose. It is meant to come out of the suffering and experience some happiness which is actually belonging to us as a jiva, as a soul, as a living entity. Now that I spoke so much about the negatives, I should also speak something about the positive. If everything is suffering here, so let's die. Basically, there is no point in living if everything is suffering. But everything in the material world is suffering, but there are some things which do not belong to this world and which are still present in this world. What are they? First is the Jivatma, ourselves. Is the Jivatma material or spiritual? Please tell me.
Spiritual.
It is not a product of the material world. The first thing is Jivatma. Therefore, you will see everything in the material world transforms, gets old, dies, is destroyed. But is the Jivatma ever destroyed? No. Similarly, Bhagavan is another entity who is not a product of the material world. The sooner you try to find Bhagavan and the sooner you come in a relationship with Bhagavan, that is the final attainment of every sadhaka, of every practitioner, of every yogi that they should aim for. Don't live your life in a way that ordinary animals and people on the street are living. The first message to be learned, don't live your life like that. Because All these people who are living their life outside, whether they are enjoying or suffering, they are doing all of it in plain ignorance of the world. Even if they are enjoying today, bahar ki duniya mein, outside world, even if they are enjoying, please tell me that enjoyment today is going to lead to something tomorrow. What is it going to lead to tomorrow? They don't know it yet. They don't know it yet. But tomorrow it is going to lead them into suffering. So you should be fully aware of how the world works. And there are 5 things which Bhagavad Gita teaches very importantly. Please repeat after me. Ishvara, Jiva, Karma, Prakriti, Kala. These are 5 main topics of Bhagavad Gita. First is Ishvara. Ishvara is who is the person who has created this entire universe, entire existence, and what is his purpose behind the creation of this. What is his purpose? This is Ishvara. Second, Jiva. Who are we? Actually, who are we? Am I this person within this body or am I somebody else? Third, which is Karma. Why does happiness and suffering come within our lives? What is the principle of karma which is working behind it? Fourth is Prakriti, material nature. How is material nature controlling our lives and what can we do to get out of our grips? And fifth is Kal, time. What is the effect of time on our lives and how do we understand time to develop detachment from this world? These 5 principles are taught in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is not simply karm kar or kal ki chinta mat kar. And anybody who has told you that has themselves not read the Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan will teach us how to become a sadhaka, a yogi, a practitioner, developing the vision with which we can see the world in a detached manner. And there is a wonderful definition of yoga that Bhagavan gives in the Gita. And I am speaking that definition. Tam vidya dukkha samyoga viyogam yoga samgitam. In the 6th chapter, Bhagavan gives a wonderful definition of yoga. Tam vidya dukkha samyoga viyogam. Please repeat after me. Tam vidya dukkha samyoga viyogam. Yoga Samgitam. So he says, what is yoga? Dukkha Samyoga Viyoga is yoga. Krishna says, what is Dukkha Samyoga Viyoga? We all know what is Dukkha. Dukkha is suffering. Dukkha Samyoga. Dukkha comes in contact with you. That is called as Dukkha Samyoga. And Viyoga, to cut that contact, dear devotees, of any Dukkha. Dukkha Samyoga and Viyoga, to cut that contact, is called as yoga. I hope you are able to understand. Which means Bhagavan is saying that dukkha will come in contact with you. That is called as dukkha samyoga. But yoga is what? Dukkha samyoga viyoga. To cut that contact immediately is yoga. How many of you would like to become a yogi? Now please raise your hands. Again, very important. Dukkha will come immediately if you are able to cut contact with that dukkha. That would be an awesome life to live. Because then you do not suffer in this world like ordinary people suffer. And that is the entire science taught in the Bhagavad Gita. Detachment. How to perform your duties. How not to run away from the world by thinking that the world is a difficult place. You may have to perform certain duties, but how to perform it out of detachment. How to perform it out of absolute detachment within the heart. How not to get attached to so-called happiness within the world. What appears to be very promising in front of our eyes. How to see the reality of this particular world. That is the reason why we need to understand this literature of Bhagavad Gita in great detail. Failing which, people who don't understand Bhagavad Gita, these people fall into great difficulties in the world, suffer from great mental depression, and sometimes they go to counselors and psychologists and pay thousands and thousands of rupees to counselors and psychologists, trying to find solutions as to why I am suffering. But most of these solutions don't work. Finally, the counselor or psychologist has to prescribe a medicine for happiness. They give a medicine. Take this antidepressant. What is it called? Antidepressant, which releases a few chemicals in their mind, and for some time they feel, a small burst of happiness, and immediately after that they again fall into depression. Dear devotees, this is not the life we should live. Bhagavad Gita is here for us, and by understanding this Shastra, we can easily attain the highest goal of our life, which is attainment of permanent happiness and permanently getting rid of all miseries. That is the main reason why Bhagavad Gita should be read. Alright? So I'll pause my speech here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Do we have time for Q&A?
Yes.
Alright, so we can please ask. I'm requesting all of you. Please ask the most critical questions that are present in your. Don't be afraid. Even if you want to ask like an atheist, ask a question. Okay? But do ask a question. Put the biggest challenge possible in front of me in the form of your question that is going on in your mind. Because we are going to take a limited number of questions. So anybody who has any question to ask, and don't hesitate at all to ask such questions. Whatever is the most critical question in your mind, please go ahead and ask.
So anybody who has a question, please raise your hands. I will give you the mic.
Yeah, it's your chance of testing your intelligence against the Shastra of Bhagavad Gita. Alright, so please do ask a question. Yes.
Prabhuji, in which dukh Pitra dosh comes?
Pitra dosh?
Yes.
Alright. So, in which dukkha does Pitra dosh come? Pitra dosh is reflected in one's Jyotish. So, a Jyotish who makes your chart can see and say that this person is affected by Pitra dosh. And Pitra dosh is manifested in life through the agency of the Devatas. So, it is Adi Daivik Dukkha. And how does Pitra dosh manifest in life? It manifests in life when you do not get any cooperation from the previous ancestors. And when you don't get such cooperation, you can see that there are people who don't receive any hereditary property, any hereditary wealth. Alright, or even if they receive, it is taken away. So you can see examples of Pitra dosh manifesting in real life in cases of people who get no help whatsoever from their ancestors. What is the reason? The reason the seed is in the previous lives. Insulting people who are of the stature of parents, insulting parents, disregarding parents. The biggest form of Pitri dosh comes in the form of not having a parent in the current life. And I am telling you how this is working in the modern world. You can see it with your own eyes. Especially in the Western world, and now more so ever in India, there are many people who are not taking care of elderly parents. All of you might be seeing this. So there are the number of people who are not taking care of elderly parents is increasing. And simultaneously, the number of children who are born to single parents or no parents is also increasing. Isn't it? There are many more children born today from divorced parents where only a single parent is present, both parents are not present. Bolo. There is a direct correlation between two things. 2 plus 2 equal to 4. You can put the equation together. The reason why many people today, many newborn children are born only with a single parent, especially in the Western world, is a direct parinam of having done something in the previous life. And even in the Western world, you will find some children who grow up with both parents. Few cases you will find. So even there are some exceptions who have rendered service to their parents. In their next life, they get a complete set of parents. And you know what happens when in your childhood one of the parents goes away. Indian children don't realize this because Indian children usually grow up with both parents. But in one's childhood, if one of the parent leaves, the child develops a very severe depression that my father or my mother did not like me, therefore they left me. I hope you are, because those of us who have not seen this, those of us who grew up with both parents will never be able to understand. I grew up with both parents, but when I saw a person who grew up with only one parent, and I asked him what was the difficulty in growing up with one parent, he said, I could never understand why my father left me. I could never understand why my father left me. But then I said, he didn't leave you, he left your mother. He didn't leave you. But for them, their impression is that my father left me. My father did not want me. I was unwanted for my father. Now, how many of us would like to grow up with that depression? No. Therefore, in this life, we should do something. Alright? Yeah. In this life, we should do something. Because it has a direct effect on the future. So I hope Pitradosh, it comes under that Adi Devi Dukh, that the Devatas don't allow you to have parents, or the Devatas take away parents, or the Devatas spoil relationships with parents. That is how Adi Devi Dukha, Pitradosh works. I hope that satisfies your query. Anybody else wants to ask anything? I'm sure there are questions. You can say, I don't believe in Parinam, Tap and Samskar. You can ask a question like that.
Should we believe in Jyotish Shastra?
Of course, Jyotish is one of the 6 branches of the Vedas.
Because I have heard that if you believe in God or you are in Krishna conscious movement, that you should not believe in Jyotish.
Anybody who said like this did not give a proper understanding of Jyotish. Alright, I will tell you whether we should believe in Jyotish or not. The founder of the society, Srila Prabhupada, he would often consult a Jyotish when he would travel. Prabhupada would often say, I don't travel on Thursdays. I don't travel on Thursdays. Why? Astrologically, it is not recommended to travel. So even the founder of this movement, he is a pure devotee, but he respects the branches of the Vedas. Alright? There are 6 branches of the Vedas. They are called Vedanga. And I will give the names of the 6 branches of the Vedas. Alright, devotees, please repeat after me. Chanda, Jyotish, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Mimamsa, branches of the Vedas. They are. So Vyakarana is one branch. Somebody comes and says you don't need to study Vyakarana. Then how will you read a particular text in its original language? Somebody says you don't need Jyotish. How will you understand your own nature which you were born with? When you take to bhakti, these things become secondary. I hope you are able to understand. These things become secondary. You don't reject them completely. Bhakti becomes primary, Jyotish becomes secondary. But if anybody is showing reject Jyotish, which means they are saying reject the Veda, and only Bhagwan Buddha said reject the Veda. We are not followers of Bhagwan Buddha. Right? We are followers of Sri Krishna, who says that you respect all the branches of the Vedas, but you can decide which branch of the Veda is your first priority in life. Your first priority in life may be Bhakti Yoga, no problem. But Jyotish is one of the 6 limbs of the Vedas, and it has a major effect on the lives of people. Alright? And those of you who have your exact time of birth, date of birth, place of birth, and maybe parents might have made a small chart or some predictions. So you can get it tested. Alright? And you can see. And the astrologer will be able to tell you your nature exactly as it is. That is how accurate it is, Jyotish. That is how accurate it is found to be in today's world. Right? So, it is very accurate science because it is a Vedic science. Anybody who rejects Jyotish is rejecting one of the 6 branches of the Vedas. Very subtle understanding, please hear carefully. Some advanced understanding I am giving. One of the 10 aparadhs in chanting Harinam is to blaspheme Vedic literature. Right? I don't know if you are aware of Nam Aparadha or not. There are 10 offenses to the holy name. One of which is to criticize Vedas or Vedic literature. So devotees who criticize Vedas or Vedic literature inadvertently fall victim to Nam Aparadha. This is the fourth Nam Aparadha. Guru Ravagya is the third. Shruti Shastra Nindanam is the fourth Nam Aparadha. So we should be very careful. We say Jyotish is of secondary importance in my life. Primary importance is Bhakti. But we should not say that we don't need Jyotish. Of course we need Jyotish. Of course we need Jyotish. Isn't it? That is why we give charity on Akshay Tritiya. Don't you need Jyotish? Don't you need Jyotish to find out when the lunar eclipse is going to happen? Hai na? Don't you need Jyotish to find out when is Ekadashi? Exactly. Bolo, which Vidya will help you to find out when Ekadashi is occurring exactly? Bolo, which Vidya? Jyotish. Jyotish has two aspects. Ganit Jyotish, Phalit Jyotish. Ganit Jyotish is the mathematics part. Which when is Ekadashi coming, when is Dwadashi coming, that is Ganit Jyotish. Even before the scientists invented their calendar for thousands of years, we know in India when solar eclipse and lunar eclipse is going to happen. Which literature? Surya Siddhant. Who is the author? Bhaskaracharya. Bhaskaracharya says in the beginning of Surya Siddhant, Bhagwan Surya personally gave me this knowledge. So I am writing Surya Siddhant. Now, we knew our ancestor Panchang is much previous to all this industrial revolution and modern calendar. So we know exactly when solar and lunar eclipse is going to occur. If you go to Rajasthan, Jaipur, there is a place called Jantar Mantar. In that place, the exact prediction of time, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, you will find all of that. And it is all before that scientific revolution came to India. So, bolo, do we need Jyotish or do we need to reject Jyotish? What do we need to do? We need Jyotish. But in Vaishnavism, Ganit Jyotish, calculatory part is very important. And the second part is Phalit. Phalit मतलब इसका फल क्या होगा? What is the result? मुझे बता देना. This person will have an angry nature. This person will have a mild nature. This person's marriage is delayed because of the presence of such and such planet. It is called Phalit Jyotish. So Ganit Jyotish is the calculation part. Phalit Jyotish is the prediction part. You need both Jyotishes. But for a devotee, that may take a back seat because you are exclusively dependent on Krishna. So I hope that answers your question. Okay? Okay. Anybody else? Prabhuji, you have to tell me when to stop.
One more question.
One more question. One last query.
Prabhuji, how we will know that we have reached ultimate happiness?
How will we know we have reached ultimate happiness? Personal experience doesn't need a certificate from outside, isn't it? Personal experience doesn't need somebody else's certification. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan will say, Brahma Bhutah Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati Samaha Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. Brahma Bhutah Prasannatma, when you will become that person, na shochati na kankshati, you will know there is no lamentation, there is no more desire remaining. Samaha Sarveshu Bhuteshu, you will walk with an equal mind in the world. And Mad Bhaktim Labhate, you will attain my devotional service at that time. You will know. And the question is like asking, how do I know if I have eaten a gulab jamun? Ab iska uttar kya bolo? How do you know if you have eaten a gulab jamun? What is the answer, bro? Tell me. Bolo?
I know.
So that's the how do I know I am alive? How do I know, bro? Bolo?
We can see you alive.
So I will know I am alive because I know this is Swataha Praman. I hope you are able to understand. That is what Bhagavan says. Pratyakshaavagamam dharmyam. Pratyakshaavagamam. You will see by Pratyaksh Praman. Pratyaksh Praman is by your own experience. Sukham kartamabe. You will not need the certificate of somebody else that yes, you are happy. Today what we do now, we need certificates from others. Yes, you are happy. Exactly. We go we do many people in the world outside, they go, they are so they are so unhappy in the world, so they go for some place, some yoga retreat or something, and they attend that 6-day yoga retreat somewhere in the Himalayas, and then they get a certificate, that you attended 6-day yoga retreat in the Himalayas for health and happiness, and they come and show, see, I attended, and they put it on Instagram. I attended 6-day happiness course, and now I should be happy, right? But you are not happy because there are 3 dukkhas waiting for you. Parinam, Paap, Samskara. So you cannot be happy unless you learn how to deal with that. Artificial means will not help. Jad se ukhadna hai. So you have to pull it out of the root. That is the final treatment. Otherwise, all other treatments are not going to work. So that is only possible by a thorough understanding of the Bhagavad Gita, verse by verse. Thorough understanding of the Bhagavad Gita. Anybody who has that understanding, very well, wonderful. You lived the purpose of your life. That is what Bhagavad Gita is meant for. It is not meant for competitions of memorization. That is not the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. Although memorization competitions are good, but the main purpose of Bhagavad Gita is somebody who got rid of their entire suffering by reading Bhagavad Gita. That is the main purpose of reading Bhagavad Gita. And the person who has read it and has gotten rid of the suffering, Swatah Praman, they will understand, I achieved it. Alright, so thank you very much, dear devotees, for coming here. Thank you for kindly giving your time and attention. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. It was such an enlightening session. So, how many of you would like that Prabhuji should visit us regularly or at least once in a while? Please raise your hands. Both the arms. So now chant 3 times. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Dear devotees, although I would love to come, but I want today's takeaway. Because what happens, often classes are held and we go home and forget everything. So today's takeaway, please, one thing you keep with you for the rest of your life. Whenever you see any happiness, okay, behind that happiness you should see something. What should you see? Dukkha. Today's takeaway for the class. Srila Prabhupada often said that unless you have a pessimistic mindset towards the material world, you cannot advance on this path. So today I am giving you that pessimistic mindset towards the material world. Whenever you see any happiness, what is hidden behind that happiness? Dukkha. 3 types of dukkha. Parinam, Taap, Samskara. If you can remember this one thing from the entire class, the purpose of giving the class is done. Right? Thank you. Yes, Prabhuji. Please go ahead.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Drama. Yeah. Now we will have our drama. So I invite the drama teacher.